It is Friday, 18th day of April. Welcome to the Lord Aboga TV newspaper review. Straight away we go on to the Daily Nation, whereby the main headline is Orengo defies Raila. Very interesting. This is the only moment that Raila has received some backlash from his old guards when going onto the handshake moment. You know, Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga is the king of handshakes.
Tuesday, tarehe 2 Jumatano.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness.
Tarehe 2 Jumatano.
So passionate, every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who being negative, getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I
hiyo ni mali ya umma wameiba toka kwenu jame wape.
You can remember the time, the Kibaki times. You can remember Uhuru Kenyatta times. You can remember this latest one, the Broadbased one, with William Samoei Ruto. And also Moi, he also had the handshake with Moi. And let me just bring you back. Orengo and Raila have not been friends. They have just been together politically because of their personal interests.
But many vehicles came to Uganda. Lorry loads, matatus, buses, and what you have there is a hired audience. Those are not Uganda people. These are hired people who have been paid little monies to attend. And you can imagine the amount of money that has been spent in ferrying all these people around here.
Nothing to do with anybody else other than this is
Our own security, party security, can very well cope with any kind of violence out here. But I do not see that this has interfered with this function in any way.
Let me just take you back. During Ford Kenya times, the late Jaramogi Oginga Odinga was not pro his son Raila Odinga to take onto the mantle of Ford Kenya. The late Jaramogi Oginga Odinga was pro Wamalwa Kijana and James Agri Orengo. That is the reason that prompted Raila Amolo Odinga to get out of Ford Kenya and form NDP. Raila's NDP got a good number of members of parliament, especially from the Luo community. That is in the year 1997. That is what made Raila to start coming up as the Luo kingpin. So, but Orengo decided not to work with Raila Amolo Odinga. That is 1997, Orengo was not with Raila. 2002, Orengo was not in Raila. Now, the formation of ODM, Orengo is among founders of ODM in the year 2005. Orengo, the group of Orengo, Tieno Kajwang, that is Anyang Nyong, that their team of old guards, that one. But at that time they were not that old as today. Now, Orengo first came in to start working with Raila. Now that they are working well, that was in the year 2007. Now they've been together all along. They've been together. At least Orengo has been doing the election petition when Raila has been complaining about him being rigged in the presidential elections. But Orengo was good with the Kibaki handshake. Orengo was good with the Uhuru Kenyatta handshake. But this one for William Samoei Ruto, it has not augured well with Orengo. And not just Orengo, but Even Anyang' Nyong'o, it has not sat well with Anyang' Nyong'o. That is, I think you can, if we can go on to those Raila's age mates, that is Orengo and Anyang' Nyong'o in ODM. We can just think these young fellas who have benefited in the broad-based government, that they are in the praise and worship team for President William Samoei Ruto. And if you've been keen, there is a faction that is seriously opposing the broad-based thing. That is a faction from ODM. Orengo being one of them. There is Orengo, there is Edwin Sifuna, there is Babu Owino. And I remember when it was a burial for late George Oduor, that is former aide to Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, Governor Orengo told President William Ruto and Raila Odinga off that it is not a must each and every person comes in government. Meaning that whichever the case, Orengo has vowed not to involve himself in the broad-based government.
All of us cannot be in government. Just fight for your right. Just fight for your right. And you'll have a better country.
Maybe it is Raila Amolo Odinga trying to play some political games, because Raila Odinga has not stood up and criticized Orengo publicly. Or he has not stood up to criticize Edwin Sifuna publicly for opposing the broad-based government. Now, yesterday we saw some group called Luo Professionals. They were castigating Governor Orengo for not joining the broad-based government and being in the praise and worship team for President William Samoei Ruto.
By telling Governor Orengo that, Governor Orengo, you behaved badly. You embarrassed us and you embarrassed our leaders. You embarrassed Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga at his lowest moment, when a friend had come to mourn with him. You embarrassed the President of the Republic of Kenya, whom as a community we recognize and we respect. We demand that you apologize to Right Honorable Raila Odinga and to the President. And on our behalf, as the Ramogi Professional Caucus, as a caucus of professionals from the region, we tender our sincere apology to Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga and to the President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency William Ruto, for the embarrassment that the governor occasioned.
But Orengo told them off before that he cannot get into the praise and worship team for President William Samoei Ruto because he is not into the idea of broad-based government. Now there is this faction that is Orengo, Nyong'o, Sifuna, Babu Owino, and others. Let's say, maybe let us assume that they didn't benefit any position from the broad-based government. That is why they are opposing Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga and President William Samoei Ruto's pact. Let us assume that is what it is. But in your right senses, do you think Raila Amolo Odinga is into William Samoei Ruto that much? The Raila Amolo Odinga who called for Ruto must go. Remember, it is Raila Amolo Odinga who started the chant, Ruto must go.
To lower the cost of living and to restore the dignity of our people, Mr. Ruto must go.
Ask yourself, is Raila Amolo Odinga deeply into William Samoei Ruto? The day that I'll believe that Raila Amolo Odinga is supporting William Samoei Ruto in full is the day that I'll see Raila Amolo Odinga coming out publicly to tell off anyone that is in ODM that is not supporting President William Samoei Ruto to go out. That is the day that I'll believe that Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga is supporting William Samoei Ruto 100% with all his heart. That is according to me. That is just my personal opinion. But this faction, the faction of praise and worship, and the faction that is against President William Samoei Ruto, I think that is just but a crafted political game by Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga himself. That is something that we're supposed to look into it with seriousness and with a third eye. There is a game here that Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga is playing. And if Raila Amolo Odinga is not playing any game, let him come out clearly and tell his rebel members that are not supporting the broad-based government to support President William Samoei Ruto or get out of ODM. That is what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for that to come from Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. Is when I'll be sure, this is my personal opinion, is when I'll be sure that Raila Amolo Odinga is supporting President William Samoei Ruto in full. Let us move on to the Standard, whereby the headline for the Standard is Gangsters Paradise. That is shocking, that is sad. As a country, we should not be listening. We should not be having such. We should not be having gangsters paradise in our Republic, Kenya. We are past that. We are not Haiti. And these findings are very shocking because it is being said that we have 309 gangs in Kenya. 309. How can we have 309 gangs in Kenya and we have a sitting government? That is very sad. Then, according to this survey, 90.8% believe gangs have infiltrated the security system. It means these gangs have godfathers in the security systems in the Republic of Kenya. I can agree to that in one or another because, you see, there's the very gangs, the very people you see huko mtaani. These people, maybe they involved in burglary, they're involved in kupiga watu ngeta, but they just arrested for 2 days, then you see them back again. That can be true. Then 82.3% of Kenyans feel that they are unsafe. They believe that they can be attacked anytime by these gangs. Again, onto this research, believe that onto this research, most affected areas are Kisumu with 89.3%. Then we have Busia with 88.7%. Then we have Bungoma with 88.4%. Then we have Mombasa with 83.4%. Then we have Nairobi with 88.1%. This is very sad that you can have these gangs coming up in different parts of the country. Again, there is some policy recommendation whereby internal vetting of police. Those are police in the service already. Then we have strong anti-corruption measures onto the police service. Then another recommendation is regulation of the matatu sector because these gangs thrive through the matatu sector. Then another recommendation is youth empowerment because these gangs come up as a result of jobless youths, as a result of just laziness, youths hanging around without no work. So this recommendation is agitating that youth should be empowered, should be given something to do, some economic value to do. Then last recommendation is community awareness campaigns, community awareness on dangers of insecurity, the dangers of these social evils, that is community awareness. But after this research came out, Inspector General of Police downplayed the findings, assuring Kenyans of ongoing operations and general safety during Easter. This is very sad that Inspector General of Police doesn't want to own up what the situation in the country is in regards to those gangs. This is what we have onto our newspaper review. For these and more stories concerning politics and governance, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Lord Aboga TV. Remember to press the notification bell so that when you come up with this interesting and important content, YouTube will automatically notify you. This was my time. Till next time, goodbye.